A friend once told me a story. A story about an eagle and a chicken. They both lived separately with their own families until one day they swapped an egg, and a little eagle ended up in the chicken's nest. It grew up to be just like them. He ate like a chicken, clucked like a chicken, he lived like a chicken. But he couldn't help but notice that every day a big, beautiful eagle would fly over their farm with his wide wings. He was mesmerized by his strength and elegance, and he wanted to be just like him. So, when he told his friends that he wanted to fly, just like the eagle, they laughed at him. But you know what? He didn't care. He didn't care if they told him that he couldn't do it, or if they told him that his life is good enough just like this, and that they belonged on the ground. He wanted to fly, and he felt deep in his heart that was something that he must do. So he tried. He practiced every single day, and after failures and failures, one day, as he jumped into the air, he spread his wings and he felt the freedom, the wind blowing through his feathers. He was flying. That little eagle spent his life thinking he was a chicken, and sometimes we do the same thing. We let other people decide how high we can fly, and we spend so much time trying to be the best chicken we can be that we never even look up. In the world of high school and career paths, we have a word for this: involution. It's that exhausting inward cycle where we compete with each other for the same narrow goals, pushing ourselves to the limit just to stay in the same place. Like that eagle, we get so caught up in the nest, we forget we were actually born with wings. I'm Teodora, Raicevic, and this is my definition of success. Setting a goal for yourself and reaching it on your own terms, fueled by your own why rather than somebody else's what. I come from Serbia, where I was a part of a public school system for the first 9 years of my education. And let's just say the grades were not that easily given to you. I worked a lot. I remember I had to stay up until 1 to 2 a.m. to study, because I also had volleyball practices, which I barely ever skipped, no matter how much homework I had. And they took a lot of my time. Then I would wake up at 6, exhausted, go to school and do it over and over and over again, and I really thought that was the path to success. Was it right? If you're asking me now, I wouldn't say completely. But it did give me the good results though. I earned straight A's, competed in multiple math competitions, and even made a senior volleyball team at just 14. And I even had many good friends. What more could a 14-year-old girl want? But there was something missing. A little piece of puzzle. It may have been little, but I could feel it. I just wasn't satisfied with myself, because no matter how much I tried, I always felt like it was not enough, like I was not enough, because there was always somebody better than me. I just couldn't bear the fact that I couldn't be the best, so I tried competing with others and stopped caring about what I actually wanted. I spent so much time comparing myself to them that my own achievements stopped feeling meaningful. You probably felt that too. Remember that one friend or classmate that just seems perfect and is better than you in so many ways. You're happy for them, but deep down, you're a little bit jealous, aren't you? It's bothering you, just like it was bothering me. But it was also pushing me to do more. Some of us have the ability to use our mental strength in order to find a positive way out of such situations. So let's try to turn this mistake into our superpower. When we get lazy, which is normal and happens to everyone, this kind of toxic motivation can even be helpful. We all know how hard it can be to start doing something, but once you do, it becomes much easier. So, for all of you that have goals that you want to achieve, but you always struggle when it comes to starting with the actual work, let that be your start button. But only the start button. Because for the rest of the journey, you will need something else to keep you going. I will now introduce you to two terms from psychology: extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. You can probably figure out the main point from the names. Extrinsic motivation comes from the outside, like seeking other people's approval, awards, or avoiding punishment. We cannot include our start button in this group, because when you act only because when you want to achieve something and to be as good as somebody else, that reason is coming from the outside. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not a bad approach for the short-term goals. But if you want to achieve something that takes more time, focus, and energy, you will need to truly enjoy the journey. And the drive needs to come from within. Now, you might be wondering, what does that mean? Let me give you an example. One of the first reasons why I started playing volleyball was because I wanted to be like those sporty, popular girls. We can call that my extrinsic motivation. However, after the years of practice, I slowly started to fall in love with the sport. And month by month, year by year, it became a part of me and my personality. Of course, during the years of practice, I had many struggles, ranging from physical injuries to mental obstacles. But I overcame them because I had intrinsic motivation. No matter how many times I compared myself to a better player, or just wondered if all the training was going to lead me to anything useful, or if I should just stop and cut my poor knees and ankles on slack. But there was always that feeling that kept pulling me back to the court. I just loved the sport. Every time I enter the court, I feel more like myself. All the worries, the homeworks, test results, mean comments, insecurities, everything that makes you angry or anxious stays outside. For me, the sweaty smell of the locker rooms and the sound of the bouncing ball bring me back that feeling of peace, and I feel like a child again. I enjoyed every pass, set, and spike that I did, even when it wasn't perfect, even when it made me angry, or annoyed, or just disappointed in myself. Volleyball also taught me a valuable lesson. The point is not over until the ball touches the ground. In other words, never give up if you still have a chance, even if it seems impossible, because it might lead you to do some things you never thought you were capable of, and trust me, that feels much more successful than just choosing the safe option everybody tells you to choose. That, in my eyes, is success. While aiming for trophies, awards, and worldwide known leagues, we discovered the real values: the passion, discipline, teamwork, and friendship. The values that make our lives more worth living. Of course, if somebody offered me to play professionally, I would love to do it, but not only because of the money or status. The main reason would be my love for volleyball. Because when you enjoy the journey, you don't care about how good others are or what they think about you. You don't even doubt if you could ever get to the top. The only thing that matters to you in that moment is the feeling of doing what you love. So my advice to you would be, find your volleyball. Find something that makes you feel like volleyball makes me feel. that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel accepted, that makes you feel like yourself. That thing that makes the rest of the world go quiet for you. Because success is not becoming the best chicken in the nest. It's remembering that you were born to fly. Thank you.